Alright, today we're having a second look at Good Elevator by JellyBeansMatter, Alpenglow 2, and Velma Forever. Alright, here we are in Good Elevator by Velma Forever, JellyBeansMatter, and Alpenglow 02, and since this is a second look, and because of the nature of the level, we are going to be doing things a little bit different this go about. Gonna do 3 minutes per each section, so that each creator's work has a bit of a chance to shine. We have a bit of a chance to take a good look at what they've all put together, and we're going to string those together, and then we're going to go back to the hub. So from here we're going to jump into Alpenglow 2's section. He's up first. So we'll be right there. See you in a second. Alright, so here we are in Alpenglow's section, and it's got kind of like a... Sorry, there's construction going on outside my house and it's throwing me off a little bit. We've got this nice little natural environment, got a little bit of Song 2 playing in the background, which means that unfortunately any viewers that are watching in Japan are not going to be able to hear it. But I do enjoy this section an awful lot. Got this, it's kind of an interesting bit of naturalistic but also human-made, because you've got the stonework going on here with these neat little froggy-doos? We're gonna call them froggy-doos. They might also be lizards, though. I'm not entirely sure. They've got very long tongues, which, I mean, could make it for either. But one thing about this section that I do notice is it is a little bit... It feels a little bit slow-paced, because you're kind of waiting on things sometimes, like these tongues. Not really a... fudge. Not really a big deal, but it is something that does stand out a little bit to me. Love these little fire dudes. Not quite sure... Fudge. I was hoping to not get killed there. Oh! Okay, bit of a loading issue there. Also, don't know why they set us back here. Must have missed triggering that checkpoint. And in that case, that's on me 100%. Which is still not cool, because that means I don't get to show you as much as I would like to show you, but such is life. Loading is a big issue throughout the entire level, because it is pretty chunky. I did find it to be most an issue in Melengard's section, Velma Forever section. I love this little bit here. It's so cool. Just a cool little bit. Albi does a... Fudge. Double fudge and fudge. Albi does a great job, I find, of making secrets hard to find, but still accessible. Now, this is the one point that kind of stood out, I don't want to say negatively, per se, but while I like the... Oh, fudge. Gonna miss that. Darn it. I like the gameplay mechanic added here by using the R stick to manipulate the tongues. I do find that it can make it a little bit difficult in hitting the jump button at the same time. So that might be something to keep in mind. There's not really a lot that could be done about it one way or the other. There's only so much real estate on the facepad, or on the controller. And I remember that Alpi was saying, initially he had thought of doing it as a tilt command. Oh, fudge! Okay, well, we're gonna have to go... Perfect timing. We're gonna go to JellyBeans section, and we'll see you in just a moment. Alright, so here we are in JellyBeansMatter's section, and this is a... I'm not gonna listen to Monk Jelly. I've listened to him many times. I like Monk Jelly a lot, and we'll talk about Monk Jelly in the hub, but not gonna listen to him this time. Sorry, Monk. That was totally my fault. I just absolutely whiffed the heck out of that grab. JellyBeans section is interesting. There's you got these grappling hook sections going on. But also, I don't know if we're going to have time to get to it. There's a puzzle bit as well that I find really quite neat. Now, I know grappling hooks are very much a your mileage may vary type of deal. Some people love them, some people maybe not so much. I find myself loving the grappling hook and wishing that it got more love in levels. But at the same time, I'm not like staggeringly good at the grappling hook. I do struggle a bit. I don't know why I'm going after these secrets. I've already gotten them, and I missed one in this level already, but that's okay. You've got, like, there's a very LBP 2 era feel to this, which is appropriate for the gameplay going on. So I do appreciate that, but also kind of, like, in the way that the level is presented to us, it's got that feel. Ah! Fudge! I want to blame that on the controller, and my controller is not good right now, but I also need to recognize the fact that that's probably on me. For some reason, this bit just did not work with my brain when we did it on stream. That's why it's a second look, by the way, because we did stream this. I don't know if you tuned in to watch that, but it was a very good one. For some reason, I just did not get that section. Now this bit here, and I really enjoy this, the way that the background has been worked into the environment. I am gonna probably miss that jump. But it's a really cool bit of detail, and some nice use of layers here. Oh, fudge! Okay. I almost died there. That would have been foolish and silly. And while I know that we all love foolish and silly, you know, it's still... we don't want to die. Now here we're going to be going into our puzzle section, and I think this is a really neat puzzle section. I'm going to do it on easy this time. But basically you've just got to make a path, excuse me, make a path from the upper left there to the lower right. Oh, fudge! But we're not going to see the end of it. We're going to have to talk about it back in the hub. And we'll see in Melengard's section next. Alright, so here we are in Velma Forever's section, and as you can see, this one gets pretty hard hit by the loading, and you kind of have to just get knocked out of level in order to get it all to load up correctly. Don't know why that is a thing, why that particularly works, but I do like this section a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about presentation in the hub, but I really like the fact that this section feels the most distinct as far as what's being presented. It's also got a bit of a difference in the gameplay. Each of the sections, I do need to point this out, each of the sections do their own thing with gameplay, and I like that a lot. I appreciate that a lot. But I feel like this one's got the most going on. We're not gonna fudge. Oh, fudge! Darn it! That was not intended. I mean, it was my fault. Ah! So, that one wasn't. Ah! No, we gotta rush. We gotta rush. We've only got so much time. And so much time is, in fact, not very much time. But I love a well-done race, and I think this is a well-done race. I'm not, to be honest, a super huge fan of floaty fluid, but I think it's well integrated here, for the most part. I wonder, is there something down there? I don't remember. My memory is so awful. I played this a little bit earlier too. Who is Skelly? I don't know who Skelly is. Albie and Melengard were going on about who is Skelly in my chat, and it's I don't know, y'all. It's your character. Why are you asking me? Now this bit here is oh, fudge. Okay, I wasn't supposed to die there. But there is a bit of a camera thing going on here. You're supposed to jump down, and it took me so long to notice that. But we actually got it finished. In 3 minutes, we got 20 seconds to spare. I think that's pretty neat. I think that is pretty neat. I'm gonna go with neat. and we've got this nice little elevator section montage thing to go in the background. And I'm cool with that. I'm taking a picture of it because that's going to be the thumbnail. But there's our timer, so we are going to take this back to the hub, and we'll see you there. See yas! And we're back! And Good Elevator by Alpenglow to JellyBeansMatter and Velma Forever. And I'd say it's a solid on yellow square. I had a lot of fun with this level. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. There are definitely some issues that I think pull it down just a little bit, but nothing too significant. And I think that you'll have a good time with it if you give it a shot. Now, the basic conceit behind the level is that you've got this magic elevator that'll take you to 3 different worlds, and in those worlds you get to see the different creators' styles and how they go about making levels, and I thought that was really neat. I thought that was really cool. So in the first section that we run into, we've got the Alpenglow section, and it's very much in his style, that kind of mixture of naturalistic elements, but also with some man-made elements going on in there as well. We see those, the cute little lizard dudes. I love those things so much. I thought they were so awesome. And they're in there so as a shaped element. This section of the level has probably got the most straightforward gameplay of 3. You've got your basic running and jumping. You got a little bit of climbing going on in there. One issue I did find with the climbing was you've got these terrible fire lizards on the sides that will shoot their flaming tongues out and kill you. I wasn't 100% sure exactly where the trigger zones, or if there was a timer that was setting those off, so I did struggle a little bit with that. Otherwise, as far as gameplay, you've got the addition of that use the right stick to move the lizard thing's tongues. Now, I'm a little bit torn on that element because I love it when we get these different and unusual gameplay mechanics that are added into levels, but as I've mentioned in the series before, connecting mechanics to the D-stick, the right D-stick, can make it a little bit difficult to trigger jumps as well. And we see in this section, the first time that we get to play around with it, we do have a jump that we've got to do. Thankfully, the timing on it is really generous, so it's not too bad, but it can be a little bit of an issue. Now, the level continues on a little bit beyond what we saw in the video, but not too much further. You trigger an explosion, you get sent back to the elevator, and then you move on to JellyBeansMatter section. And that's the small temple, and we run into Monk Jelly. And I liked Monk Jelly a lot. I thought Monk Jelly was really cute. Talk about the small life, and we go on our small journeys, and you've got to go through the small adventure and small temple. By the end of it, I kind of thought that I didn't really know what the word small meant anymore. It kind of like Smurf. It just means whatever the person wants it to mean at any given time. This section is very grapple hook heavy, and your enjoyment of it is going to be dependent on how much you enjoy using the grappling hook. I myself happen to like the grappling hook an awful lot. I know it's not for everyone. I'm not great with the grappling hook, unfortunately, but thankfully there's nothing here in the level that is really calling on you being like super skilled with that particular power-up. You definitely use it throughout, but there's nothing in there that I think that's really going to trip people up too much. The biggest trouble I had as far as gameplay was in the section where you're moving backwards through the layers, you're moving towards the back, and in the very end section, you're gonna kind of you want to swing and grapple onto something and not have the secondary swing, the arc of it, take you into spikes. Actually, it's a little bit tricky, not too bad. Moving on from that, and the ledge that you're actually supposed to jump on, I do think might be a little bit hard for some players to catch. It's not a super big deal, and if you're paying attention, you'll definitely see it, but if you drop straight down, like I did, you will die, so that is a problem. Aside from the grappling hook section, you've got a puzzle section in there. The puzzle I thought was really well done. I really enjoyed it a lot. I tried all 3 difficulties. I found, strangely enough, hard to be the easiest, easy to be middle range, and medium to be the hardest. I do not know why. I don't know why my brain meats just did not seem to grasp the medium difficulty, but they did not. I was able to do the easy and hard modes, and I found those to be pretty cool. I think if you're doing this level a number of times in succession, like I was, to get B-roll footage, The rotating of the blocks might be a little bit annoying because it's a little bit slow. It's weird because I think it's a really good element and it's a really good choice for the level if somebody's only going to play the level once or play it with a big gap in it. But playing it like 5 or 6 times end to end, it did kind of drag just a little bit, but that's very much a me problem. That's not a level problem. Now you move on from that section into what I find to be the best but also most unfortunate section in the level, and that's Velma Forever's Melengard's section. And the reason I say it's the most unfortunate, let's start there. The loading really hits this section quite badly, and we saw it in the video, and that came up every time that I played. There's significant bits right early on that don't load in, and they are gameplay necessary bits. The only way that we found to actually kind of force the load was to drop out of level, but that is a little bit tricky itself, because if you jump off the ledge, you know, trying to catch a ledge you imagine might be there, you'll just die, and it won't actually cause the reload. What you need to do is just walk off the ledge and drop straight down. It'll take you out of level, and for some reason, that death forces everything to load in. So it is a bit unfortunate that this section got hit with that problem, because it was, of the 3, my favorite. It's got a nice zippy gameplay flow that I really love. I love levels that make me feel active. There's a lot of both horizontal and vertical movement in here. The floaty fluid, in general, I'm not a super big fan of floaty fluid, although I do feel that it was well used in this level. It keeps things moving, but sometimes you can hit the floaty fluid at a bad angle or at the wrong momentum and kind of drop out of the bubble that you're supposed to be going through. So that's like, it's a floaty fluid issue, it's not really a level issue. I did find it well utilized here. There was one section that was a little bit of a problem, but I think is fairly easily remedied. Right at the end of the race, and you get to a bit where you're blocked off by a sandbag, what you're supposed to do is drop forward in layer, and you'll fall onto a ledge, and that'll allow you to progress. The issue there is that the way that the camera is angled, it's really, really easy to miss that layer, that ledge, excuse me, actually does exist. And just when I played it on stream, and I just kind of sat there like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Like, once you know it's there, it's, oh yeah, sure, just drop forward and you can move on with your life. But I think it might be a little bit better to perhaps pull the camera back just a touch, or angle it down just a touch, just to make it a little bit more obvious that layer exists, that ledge exists, and that would solve the issue pretty simply, I think. Now, I did mention that there were some downsides that come with the way that this level was put together, and they're fairly unavoidable for what they were trying to accomplish, because all of this is done in one big level, one big create mode, which means that they've got to use the Advanced Create tool, and Advanced Create tool, I found, has always been extremely wonky. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. I see the biggest issues with things not loading in as a result of using the Advanced Create tool, the Advanced Create mode, excuse me. And I think, although to some extent it would have maybe broken up the feel of the level, that for the lag and loading issues, it may have been better off to actually have done this either as an adventure and have, you know, each section separate, or as to have them with forced level links to connect them. But again, to have each creator be using their own like zone, their own create mode, and, you know, tethering those together, I think that would probably in the end solve a lot of the issues with the loading. It's not something that can be changed now, you know, the level's already being done, it's already being completed, but maybe if you're thinking about doing collaborations in the future, not just these 3 creators, but you viewers out there, you kind of take this as a bit of a caution, I think. The other thing I found was a little bit more in the kind of presentation or the feel of the level. So you've got, as we said, the conceit is that the elevator takes you to 3 different worlds, and I feel like that gives the creators a chance to really put their stamp and really make these worlds very, very different. But out of the 3 sections, Velma Forever is really the only one that kind of stands out in a presentation sense as a different thing. That the types of materials that are used, the type of environment that's being presented, is really quite different from the other 2. Now, with Albies, and you've got more of that forest environment, and with JellyBeansMatter, you've got that kind of semi-temple environment. But I feel like the color palettes for those 2 sections and the material choices, they're very similar in feel, they're very similar in style, and they feel like 2 pieces of a larger connected whole. And normally that would be something that you would aim for, you know, if you're doing these kind of larger, like an adventure environment where you want everything to be very clearly of one place, you know, different sections of one place. But here, you know, perversely, because they've sold it to us as 3 different worlds, it would have been, I think, a little bit more interesting to see more differentiation between those 3 different worlds, that they did truly seem to feel separate, and that's something that I don't really feel that we get here. That doesn't mean that each individual world is poor in presentation. It doesn't mean that the environmental choices, material choices, and shaping and decorations, it doesn't mean that those things are bad, because they're all very well done. These 3 creators are all very skilled. But having the first 2 sections sync up the way that they did, I think does detract a little bit from the overall overarching theme of the level. But those are really the only kind of complaints I have. I enjoyed this. I had a heck of a lot of fun streaming it. I had a heck of a lot of fun playing it just now for all the B-rolls. I didn't have a heck of a lot of fun doing this outro recording, because let me tell you, so many problems. Well, you don't even want to hear about it. Just the outro, this takeaway section has been a pain in the butt. And I think we're going to wrap this up right here. Play Good Elevator if you haven't played it yet. Play the other levels by Alpenglow 2, Velma Forever, and JellyBeansMatter. I think you'll find a lot of good stuff in there. I think you'll find easily a full day's of fun. But that pretty much does it for us. That pretty much does it here for us this go about. So, from me, Risco, here in Tokyo, to all of you out there wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.